from the legal perspective, what are the biggest issues currently facing the EB-5 industry?
On behalf of the investors, some of the biggest issues facing the industry there are many. First is the fact that the September 30, 2026 deadline for grandfathering is fast approaching. And there is still uncertainty as to whether Congress is going to act to extend the program beyond September 30, 2027. So there is a pressure created by that September 30, 2026 deadline for EB-5 investors to enter into an investment. So let me go through, there's a couple other issues facing EB-5 investors from a legal standpoint right now that they need to know. There have been meaningful delays at USCIS in adjudicating I-526Es and adjudicating I-956Fs because, as everyone in the audience probably knows, before a project can be approved for EB-5 investment purposes, the project's 956F has to be adjudicated and approved. You can invest in the project before approval, but the funds are not going to be released and used, and so that causes a delay. There has been a lot of focus at USCIS on investors proving to USCIS's satisfaction the source of funds used in their investment, and there is a big debate going on between source of funds, which is what the statute says, and what USCIS is looking at, which is called path of funds. In essence, USCIS is asking investors to prove not just where their immediate source of the money they've invested, but where that source got the money and where that source got the money. And so the entire path from time immemorial. We have been litigating this issue with USCIS. The last one I'll mention is that USCIS has taken a meaningful disliking to EB-5 petitions that are supported by loans made to investors from non-bank lenders. So if an investor borrows money from a family member or a business or a finance company that is not regulated in the United States as a bank, USCIS has been pushing back very hard and issuing requests for evidence, notices of intent to deny, and notices of intent to revoke.
Yeah, Stephen, let me add to that, just to clarify one thing. Legally, as Stephen said it correctly, you have to file a 956F, and then within 10 days after the filing of the 956F, it takes a long time to get a receipt. It could take weeks and weeks to get a receipt. So but based upon the settlement and litigation back in 3 years ago, they agreed that if USCIS does not issue a receipt, the investor can file their 526E within 10 days after the 956F is filed. I want to just clarify, there's two options with investors. One option is they file their 526E and they put their money in escrow with a bank or a subscription account, similar, and they wait to fund the money. The industry generally, the sponsors want the money used in the project. A lot of the investors want the money used in the project. They don't want it just sitting in escrow. And the whole purpose of EB-5 funding is to help a developer develop their project. So the issue gets resolved in the documentation, which Stephen can talk about separately. There's usually a guarantee of denial, where if the investor gets denied their 526 petition because the project failed to meet the requirements, then within a certain period of time, the developer is obligated either to repay a loan, or if it's a preferred equity deal, to return money to the NCE EB-5 company, and they return the money to the investor. So that's kind of what's going on. And everybody, but generally the money is released today because everybody wants the money going to the project. The one other thing that's very critical, is, and a lot of people don't know this yet, we put it in our documents, as of January 2027, it's in the RIA, the EB-5 Reform and Integrity Act. This is a new provision. A lot of people don't know it yet. The amount of the capital investment goes up by the cost of living. And believe it or not, and that's from 2022 through 2026. And in the United States, I don't know if you may be aware that we had a major inflation problem in 2022 because of the Fed making money too cheap, and all of a sudden inflation took over. The inflation rate alone in 2022 exceeded 8%, and it started going down. We've done calculations. There's no guarantees. We won't know the number till December or a little earlier this year, but you can guesstimate that the cost of living index over 5 years has gone up 20%.